The aftermath of last night's battle still littered the floor. At first, I admit, I thought the zombie horde might get the better of us.
You're tied to this place, kid. Your energy. The distant past ain't so distant for you. I saw you leave that icebox. This whole world is like some bad dream you can't wake up from, isn't it? The site can help you, kid. It always has answers. Just gotta bring me some jet so I can see what it wants to tell you.
Mama Murphy was right. This was all like a bad dream to me. But with her help, I knew what I had to do next. I knew where I had to go. And I knew this was my time to leave.
Diamond City holds answers, but they're locked tight. You ask them what they know, but people's hearts are chained up with fear and suspicion. But you find it. You find that heart that's gonna lead you to your boy. Oh, it's bright. So bright against the dark alleys it walks. That's what you need to do, kid. Follow the signs to the bright heart. You're looking for a man. He can help you. But he ain't gonna be the man you expect. He's somewhere deep and dark, surrounded by folks with nothing but cruel intentions. But there's an echo. Something in the past that can help you. When you meet the fat man and the angry woman, tell them to remember the quarry and Lily June on the rocks, and they'll let you and your friend pass. Don't mind me, kid. The chems are just acting up a bit. I'll be fine. Eventually.
Most of what she had to say meant nothing to me. Not then. But the one thing I did know was to head to Diamond City. I started my journey by heading back to Lexington. Lexington was a war zone, made up of several raider gangs all fighting to take back the city building by building. I wanted to clear a safe path around the outskirts of the city to help me for when I do finally return to my friends back at Sanctuary. This seemed achievable in theory, but in practice would prove a difficult job for someone on their own. As I'd set out with this goal in mind right from the start, I decided to leave all my companions back at Sanctuary. I could not risk any of them getting hurt, and I would need to rely more on my stealth to get the advantage now in any battle. I had modified the combat rifle I got off Jared's dead body, and it was now proving a good choice of weapon to bring, as I used it to scout out the outskirts of the city of Lexington. I had found someone, most likely a scout, just sitting on the roof of one of the houses on the outskirts of the city. But was he alone? No, these raiders never work alone. He must have his friends close by him, but trying to spot them from this distance would be difficult. The more I looked at the city, the more I realised that I'd let myself in for one hell of a challenge. The tall, ruined buildings were a perfect advantage spot for a sniper trying to take out unexpected travellers. I could not guarantee a killing shot from here, so I had to move in closer. As I got within range, I hid behind one of the trees. The rifle I was using I had modified back at Sanctuary. It had a scope and a much longer barrel, and I had added a hardened receiver just to give it a little bit extra firepower. He had no idea he had just walked straight into his own death. As he prepared his dinner, I lined up my shot. My new weapon had taken its first victim. I started to move away, but something told me to hold back. Wait. The feeling grew until I noticed movement within the house. He was not alone. I could see her in the doorway. She shared the same fate as her friend. I was still not convinced that they were all dead, but I could hear no movement, so I moved in slowly. I was now in the ruins of Lexington. I was on my guard from here on in. I moved towards the back of the house and entered from the stairs at the rear of the building. A turret was through the window. I knew there was cause for concern, and that was also why I detected no movement earlier. I picked up the supplies off the dead raider while I was deciding what I was going to do next. I did not want to take down a turret unless there was absolutely no choice in the matter. I noticed I could move into the building next door. Maybe there was something in there of use to me. .56 bullets. Useful, if only I had a weapon to use them in. But the safe, that must have more useful items in it for me. While I was at Sanctuary, I was practicing with much more difficult locks to try and hone my skills at lockpicking. This lock was hard and you needed to be an expert to break the lock on this one, but I thought I was up to the task. And I was in.
Yes.
Medical supplies are always a good find, but the stealth boy, that was something unexpected. These were very rare even before the war, but to have something that could render me invisible, even if it was for a couple of seconds, was bloody useful, but far too valuable to waste now. That is even if it still worked. The turret was guarding the stairs to the roof. I had made up my mind. I wanted to get to that roof. And I had just the shotgun to help me take out the turret. This fine weapon would somehow output double damage. Luckily for me, because if I had to take another shot, I would have just been ripped apart by it. The way was now clear to go upstairs and onto the roof, but still I had the uneasy feeling I was still not alone. Bugger, there was another turret on the ground floor. I decided to leave that one unless I had no choice but to take it out. And it seems that the raider from upstairs was now one of the walking dead. This really was not his day. All he wanted to do was make himself some dinner. He had some interesting armor on him, and a laser rifle. I would be unable to carry the laser rifle, but the armor was a vast improvement on some of the stuff I was wearing. And also came with some extra hidden pockets to help me carry my load. After swapping out my armor pieces, I headed away from the house and deeper into Lexington. The day was going fast. It was already early afternoon. I had to make it through the city today or find a safe place to spend the night. And there was very few places in Lexington that were safe. I quenched my thirst and then continued my journey. If I could clear a safe route through Lexington to Diamond City, this would prove useful to the settlers of Sanctuary. but there was always a cruel reminder of the nature of the raiders in Lexington.
Time to reel 'em in.
A fight had broken out in one of the buildings I was passing. I was unsure if it's two raider gangs fighting each other or something else, but hopefully they would kill each other and save me the trouble. I could see the first of the raiders. He was carrying a gun. I put him down quickly. This only drew more attention, but I had good cover, and so a good advantage, and my powerful combat rifle was proving itself as my go-to weapon. A third raider appeared round the corner and hit me, grazing my shoulder. His wound was far worse. 3 more raiders down in Lexington, 3 more threats taken care of. I hoped I was saving lives and innocent travellers through Lexington. Or was it just murder? These raiders did not attack me, not until I started attacking them first. But raiders did not seem to me like they were going to ask questions first. I'd already decided that when I came across raiders, I also would shoot first and ask questions later. I looted their corpses of Molotovs and ammunition until they turned and I would need to put them all down one more time. I knew not to waste my rifle ammunition and swapped to my pistol as I put them down again. I was now in the heart of Lexington, and I was even more aware of every sound and every moving shadow. I could not risk missing a sniper. One missed sniper would end my journey. A raider in his own power armor. This was beyond me. I had nothing on me to penetrate armor as thick as that. That was one raider I would need to avoid, at least until next time when I would come more prepared. I stopped at a diner that I used to spend far too much time at when I was a younger man. This seemed the scene of the last stand between a raider as he fought off a zombie. It seemed to end badly for both of them. As everywhere I went, I checked the till for money. Why, I thought to myself. I knew bottle caps were used throughout the Commonwealth as money, but now I am glad that I used to do that. Even old world money has a purpose in the new world.
What the fuck was that?
The raider in his power armor was shining his headlamp right at me. I moved out of his line of sight and waited for him to lose interest.
Pack it in, boys.
Counted my blessings and then I moved on. I was drawn towards a first aid kit, just sitting on the outside of the building, but it was not going to be that simple. I was going to have to fight for it. Nothing was free in this world. And the box had only jet. I had gotten this far without lowering myself to that of a raider by taking drugs, and I was not going to start now.
Paranoid. Nothing here.
Apart from the raider in his power armor, This side of Lexington was now clear, but I would come back for him. Lexington would need to be cleared before I would be happy of my friends at Sanctuary travelling through here. But this had taken far too long, and night was now upon me. I had made it to the bus terminal on the edge of the city. There was nowhere safe to rest here. And I was being drawn to the lights in the distance. The fog had rolled in as quick as the night. Gunshots in the distance. Because of the fog, I was limited on what I would be able to see, but so would they. I moved forward to get a better look at what was happening up the road, and what was going on was one hell of a surprise to me. A group of men were holding a building up the road, but these were dressed like Preston, dressed like Minutemen. It was a gamble, I know, but I had to find out what these people were doing. Who were they?
I've lost contact.
I watched from distance as they took down 2 zombies. These people were in fact new members of the Minutemen. They had joined the course of the Minutemen and had taken it upon themselves to try and clear this part of the Commonwealth. This gave me new hope that there was actually people in this world who wanted to make a difference and who wanted to help all those in need. Preston was right, all these people needed was a leader, someone to get them to all work together for a common cause. Maybe that could be me. When I'd settled my own business, I could help rebuild the Commonwealth. The damn storm was starting up, and there was nowhere for me to get cover. I would have to risk continuing my journey during the night. And at once that decision was challenged. Once the zombie was down, I made up my mind and headed on. I had to find cover from the storm and needed to find somewhere to rest the night, because I still had a long journey tomorrow and I would need a good night's sleep. I could see the silhouette of a rocket, and I instantly knew that that would be a Red Rocket garage, and I could see large buildings behind. If one of them was intact, then I might be able to find some shelter, and hopefully before the storm got too bad. I found somewhere, and it might offer me protection from the rads. I headed inside. The building was secure, and offered me great protection from the storm. And even more of a surprise, the building was empty. Once again I was on my own. And once again I forgot to bring the damn cards. The storm had ended. The wind and rain had stopped beating against the sides of the building. As I left the building, I walked quite literally into a robot. He seemed uninterested in me, and luckily for me, just let me walk on past. I could hear explosions in the distance. Somewhere near there was a fight going on, and I was hoping to avoid that, at least until the morning. I'd been looking through the windows at the Red Rocket from the building opposite, and I noticed there was something, some sort of structure, on the roof of the garage, and this I wanted to take a closer look at. Someone had built a set of wooden steps at the rear, leading all the way to the roof. Someone had quite obviously been living here. and they had built a little shack at the end.
Good luck to them with, you know.
Someone was talking, maybe they were still here, or maybe it was the radio.
In other news, it sounds like maybe the none of them.
A stim pack, a bed. This had everything I would need for my base, away from Sanctuary. And if the owner did not appear by the morning, then I would claim this place as my own. And while I was at it, I would claim that very fine looking hunting rifle as well. Thank you all for continuing to listen to my story of life after the fallout, as I try to survive the horror of this new world. Please like if you did, subscribe to never miss a video, comment below, or on Facebook or Twitter with all the links in the description. I'm Shaun, insane in the game, and this was Fallout 4, and I hope to see you all one day in the safe zone.